This is the second part of my video. I had to free some space because of my phone storage. But anyway, where am I? Where am I at? So yeah, the border. So, yep, talking about the border. I used to work at a company where I had to recruit a medical practitioner for the CBP, for the Custom and Border Protection. So it is something that I'm very, I felt very honored and grateful for the opportunity that they've entrusted me. It's also an opportunity for me to open my eyes to see the situation of what's really going on, not just in the US, but overall. The different people from different countries, how how they how they really wanted to get into the United States, and how good and kind-hearted most American people have when it comes to providing and offering shelter to those who need. There's just a lot of people who are against it, which is I understand, because there are people who wanted to take advantage of getting into the border, not following the right process. Um, Illegal immigrants taking advantage of the system, getting Medicare, free Medicare, and a lot of benefits. Well, a lot of people work really hard to pay their medical insurance, work hard to earn a decent living, and work hard to get there. That they have to wait. They have to wait a certain time to get approved. But anyway, it's there's always an exception to the rule. There are countries who suffer from wars, that has be to be carried by the US, because US has enough tools, facilities, and people to provide this kind of needs to them. But anyway, oh well. What else? What else do I know, and how well do I know Mr. Donald Trump? So Mr. Donald Trump, I've met him once in person, not face to face, not super close to each other, but I met and seen him once on a rally. I went to a rally in Florida. Um, it was great. Um, you know, there's lots of energy there. People are dancing, shouting, win, 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 make America great again. And then we bought a MAGA hat, the MAGA hat, the red MAGA hat, make America great again hat. So it was nice. Oh my God, I've seen Mr. Donald J. Trump for the first one. I was like, wow, this is a surreal feeling. I can't believe it. I've seen the President of the United States of America for the first time, when I haven't even seen the President of the Philippines in real life. Can you believe it? That's how cool the President of the US is, or was. I don't know. Oh well. But anyway, and then he was also on the plane, which is number 28. I was like, oh my God, that was the date that I first arrived in the US, the 28th of, that I left the Philippines, the 28th of May. So I was like, okay, oh my God. you know, it was just a very, it was just a surreal moment for me. Like, there's a lot of different, not organization, but rather different races. We have Asian community, Asian for Donald Trump. We have, you know, Floridians and everything. So anyway, I don't want to be too excited when I'm explaining it. But then that's about it. Seeing and meeting Donald Trump for the first time was memorable and unforgettable for me. Although I haven't really seen him, and had a chance to at least be close. But anyway, it's a privilege, it's an honor, right? And then what else? I don't know. Maybe my ex-husband has become so, um, what is the right word I'm looking for? Maybe Mark has gotten to be so Donald J. Trump oriented. He's just so he's like, he's also, he has a small business, right? But I think he has an ambition to be like him. Like he truly feel it and live it. Like, I mean, he wanted to be like, I feel like he wanted to be Donald J. He wanted to be the president, right? And then I don't know if that is something that he was dreaming of at that time. But I remember when I was working at this company, they were calling me Melania. I was Melania, and my ex-husband was Donald Trump. So we're Donald and Melania. I can't remember exactly who was the one who said that, but my ex-husband keeps repeating it back to me over and over again. He was very proud that we are Donald and Melania. I was like, okay, I know you're joking, but it's just it has just gotten to the point where it's like, I don't know if he's very obsessed with Mr. Trump. I was like, okay, whatever. That, but he's a big Republican guy. I mean, I'm not blaming him or anything. Um, and then things happened that my ex-husband and I had to part our ways due to reason that, we just don't understand each other. There's a lot of indifferences that cannot be fixed by counseling, that can be fixed by conversation. It's just so happened that we had to end our relationship because of so many different issues that keeps being repeatedly said back to me over and over again. And I mean, we had our marriage. We had our happy moments and everything, but um it's just, it came to the point that enough is enough, that we had to part our ways for the sake of our mental and emotional and overall health. That we have to be separated because we have different goals. um you know I mean, we both respected our decision. So anyway, until I moved to another state, I moved to Minnesota. So with Minnesota, it's completely different from Florida, because Minnesota is a blue state. It's more of like democratic state, while Florida is red state, which is Republican. So Republican state is Florida, and then blue state here is more of like liberal and Democrats. So when I moved to Minnesota, most of the people there are not really into um, Mr. Donald J. Trump, right? The president at the time is Mr. Joe Biden. So Mr. Joe Biden was the president at the time when I moved, and then when I moved to Minnesota, there you have it. I don't really pay much attention to politics. I just focus on working and working and working, and that's about it. I wasn't very I stopped watching news and everything. I focused more on like watching gospel, um and staying away from politics as much as possible. But working at the bank, there's no way that you're not gonna get any information about it. In fact, I had a lot of customers who are Republicans, who every now and then we talk about Donald J. Trump, and this is something that I've experienced before when I was in Minnesota. When I was in Minnesota, there are people, not a lot of them thought that I was a high priority. Like, I have an involvement with Mr. Donald J. Trump, which is not true. I've been overhearing people saying it to me. Like, there's like a gossip about me and Donald Trump. I was like, I did not answer back because I know it's silly. How would a president would even look to me that he doesn't even knew me? I'm from the Philippines and I was married and everything. So I was like, there's gossip saying about me being a high priority and Mr. Donald J. Trump is involved with me. I, of course, just ignored it. I was like, I didn't say anything. I was silent. I didn't deny it. I didn't agree with it. I just completely, keep my mouth shut and be quiet. I was like, that was very silly, you know. It's not even in my wild imagination that it will ever happen. Although when I was working in Florida, people are teasing me to be Melania and my ex-husband was Donald J. Trump. Maybe that was just it, right? No more, no less. Um, but anyway, so until I have gotten accustomed to the life in Minnesota, which I really love because I felt like Minnesota was my home. And Minnesota will always be my home. That's where my heart belongs. I've met a lot of people there. Um, until I met a lot of people, I mean, people from the church that I considered a family now, and friends, church mates, and everything. And then fast forward to the year 2024. 2024 was presidential election. So I don't know if I have already been branded and labeled as a Trump girl, a Donald Trump Republican girl. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't very verbal about it. There are people that I talked about how I felt about Donald J. Trump and how much I admire and look up to him. But honestly, I've been staying away from so many politics and all that kind of stuff because there are times that politics are dirty. I'm sorry for my language, but that's what I've observed before. I don't wanna get myself into that, but I don't know, for some reason life keeps putting me back there. It feels like um it's my it's one of my destinies, part of my destiny to know and to learn about politics for something that I don't know what is for, but I think I am finally understanding it little by little now. But anyway, cut the story short, so there you have it. Before the presidential election, um, I unknowingly endorsed I felt like I unknowingly endorsed the president. Although people were saying that he's going to win anyway, because he has Kamala Harris as the other running president. So they're the both of them are competing, and I felt like it's either him or Kamala. So um, and me, honestly, in my heart, I was like, yeah, it's going to be Mr. Donald J. Trump was gonna win the election, right? And there are customers at the bank, which I do not intend to promote him or endorse him, that there are customer who would talk about him. I was like, what would I tell him? No, let's but anyway, so they would just talk about, President Donald J. Trump. I mean, I don't really put too much opinion to it, but I was like, yeah, he seems like he's a good president, and he's my president. That's what I said, and I am entitled to that. And then there was there's an incident that happened. I can remember it was prior to the election or after the election, that he was shot. There was a gunshot. He was shot, and I was like, oh my goodness, he was shot on his ear. I think he was having I think he was having a rallies, one of his rally before, and he was shot. He was shot on his ear, right? And then I was like, oh my God, I'm glad he's alive. He didn't die. Um, and then the next day, I was so stressed about the news and everything. So I took a drive. I was driving to the southern part of the Minnesota and everything. So, there are parts in Minnesota. There are parts in Minnesota that are, more of like plantations. So they have plantations there and everything. I was driving there. I keep driving and driving to Linwood Park, going all the way down. I don't know if it's south or north, but I just keep driving and driving because it was very stressful. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. So and then I was driving and driving and driving, right? And then there there's this kids was driving, who overtake and then driving. I was driving, they were also driving very close to me, right? And then they flipped their fingers on me. They were flipping their fingers on me. I was like, I think it's because of Donald Trump. I think it's because of Mr. Trump. And I was like, you know you know, that was weird. That was so weird. Very, very, very weird. So anyway, I think they hate me because they thought that I was, you know, I was purposely endorsing Mr. Donald Trump. And then, so election came. It was the 5th of October, the 5th of October 2025. That was it. Yeah, I think it was the 5th of October 2024 that officially Mr. Donald J. Trump won the presidency. Congratulations. I knew it. I was with Al. We waited for I was with Al the entire um you know and we watched the result and everything. I was like, yay, he won. Someone's gonna be so happy because of the result. So Mr. Donald J. Trump is the president. Congratulations. Then I went to work, and then people are very, very unhappy. They don't seem like they like the result. And I was smiling. Maybe I was very insensitive that I was like, yeah, I'm glad that he won. I think he wouldn't be in that position if people do not trust him. Something like that. I don't think that's the right word that I use, but somewhere along those lines. And people are probably very disappointed about the result. But anyway, there is nothing that we can do about it. He already won. And then there you go, and he's the president now and things. I haven't really felt anything because I have my own personal issue and everything, but I'm slowly watching his video, looking into it. I knew that he was born on the 14th of June 14th. I don't know the year. Just do your research. Anyway, so there you go. Fast forward, I had my own separate work issue, relationship issue, going to the Philippines and everything, which I am going to create a separate video, which I already probably have. But anyway, this is really about Mr. Donald J. Trump. So, and also the house that I moved into, the owner of the house, Mr. Frank, I think he's also a Republican guy. He also likes Donald J. Trump. And I was very surprised because most of the people that are part of my life, even in Minnesota, are Trumpers. I don't know if they're just saying that they're Republican, or maybe they just, I don't know, because most of the people that I talked to when I was there, they were saying that they're Republican. I mean, I knew the ones that are not, because they're also very vocal and straightforward about it. But anyway, so comes December, when I went to the Philippines, right? I went to the Philippines for vacation, for a few weeks vacation, with an intention of going back because I have another job waiting for me. I have a job offer waiting for me, right? But things happen. There's a lot of things that happen here in the Philippines that are just so, I don't know, uncomprehendable. I can't I can't even put it into words. Something that I can comprehend. There's a lot of coincidences, nagkataon lang siguro, at kung ano-ano pa mang nangyari dito nung umuwi ako. And then, so I keep watching the news and everything because I want to be updated what's going on in the US, until I probably overstayed more than I should, because I had to rebook my flight. I had to rebook my flight and everything, until I came to the point that I probably not yet ready to go back, because there's a lot of issue here that I need to take care of first, especially that I have to make sure that my son is okay and everything, until probably I don't know how many months have passed. It's because I'm supposed to go back to the US January of 2025 too, because I have to start energy. I don't know if it's summer, February, March, April. It's probably before tax season. Yes, it was before tax season, because tax season is April. More like, that's the last filing, I believe. But it's, so with that said, when I was watching news and everything, I've been noticing Donald J. Trump's post. He was posting about so many things that is very close to home. Like, I felt like I felt like he was, I felt like it's directed to me. I don't know why. Maybe I was just overthinking it. And who am I to assume that it has something to do with me, right? And that's when he also started the tariff and taxes, and everything, right? The tariff, the trade war, and all that kind of stuff. And the only thing that I can hold on to is the green card that I have with the liberty of the with the liberty of the United States of America. So I have my green card before I left the Philippines, before I left the US. I had a confidence that I can go back anytime because I have my green card, that the United States of America entrusted me, that I'm a lawful resident, that I did not break any laws in the US. So anyway, so I have that confidence that okay, before I go back to the US, let me take care of all the things that I have to take care of here in the Philippines. Especially, I need to focus on my son Nathan, right? And then everything is okay and settled, then I'm going back to the US to work again, and wait for his visa because Nathan is also getting ready to go there. It's just a matter of time until we get the approval from the immigration for his for my petition for him to get there in the US. But anyway, so with that, I've been noticing a lot of Mr. Donald J. Trump's posts because I've been keeping up with his posts on social media, and I was like, it's very close to home. Is he, is it something to do about me? Especially there's a tariff, the tariff that he is charging China at the time is 67%. So 67%, and then 34. I was like, the number that the number that he was holding is very similar to the expiration date of my visa, not my visa, my green card. So it's like June 7, 2034. I was like, what are the chances that the tariff that Mr. Donald J. Trump is charging to China is the same with the expiration of my green card? It's like, what are you doing to me, Mr. President? Are you trading me to China? Or I don't know. I was just being silly and everything, but that was a coincidence. And then until I came to the point that I keep paying attention to his news and everything, and he was talking about Pocahontas and everything. He was talking about the taxes, the one big bill, big beautiful bill, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, these are the things that I recognize. um I knew there's something going on. I was like, and then at the same time, his son, Donald Trump Jr., is also posting a lot of different things that kind of somehow awaken my curiosity. Like, his, him getting a big fish and his pickup car, and him cutting the trees and everything and all that kind of stuff. It just something just awakened me and opened my curiosity. And then he was talking about shrimp and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, you know if I am not normal and I am assuming so many things, I wouldn't think that Mr. Donald Trump's eyes on me, that he's watching my move. And I was like, what is for, I didn't do anything wrong except that I was your follower. I look up to you before, and I still look up to you now. I know you've changed a lot compared to how you were talking to a lot of people before, that you have been more gentle. The way that you talk, the way that you present yourself, and you have been more gentle on how you approach women and how you talk to people, unlike how you talk about Kamala Harris, which I'm sorry, I do not appreciate the way you talk about her. I'm not pro Kamala Harris, but she's also a woman. I think she deserves to be respected the same way that your wife, Miss Melania Trump, needs to be respected as well, right? You also have your grandchildren. You have Madison, and you have your son Barron, who probably might be the next president in the long run. Who knows? But anyway, Mr. President, I don't know if you know me, but I think you do. I serve the government. I serve at the border, at the custom and border protection. I help a lot of immigrants to get there and be assisted. It was a very short time, but I did my best to serve the U.S. I paid my taxes. I paid my taxes, and um, I did the right thing to get there. So, Mr. Donald J. Trump, if you're watching, um, I hope you are aware of what is going on here in the Philippines. Um, to all my Republican friends, you know, if you know, you know, you know, you are being called out almost every day. I'm trying my best to keep up with how you're doing, where you're going, and everything. But you're just so fast. You keep going to different places that I can keep up with you. And then here's this news about the Bozo, the No King protest. I've seen the picture. I've seen the banner at Golden Valley. It says No King. There is no king in the United States of America. There is no king there, right? There's king and queens, I know, in United Kingdom, but not in the US, they said. And then there's Bozo, the dictator, and everything. I was like, oh my god, I think I knew something about it, but I don't know. It's just so hard to put it all together. But as far as where my heart goes, Mr. Donald J. Trump, I have never betrayed you. I trusted you. I trusted you. I never betrayed you. And, we both wanted peace, not rest in peace and died as the the finish line of all this battle. I'd like to think that the battle is over and we already have been crowned with victory, and we have already been crowned with favor. You already got it. You got the position, you got the respect, you got the honor. Now I'm asking you to pay attention and look at me, because I think you do know. You do know what is going on with the movement of my hand. You're able to pass a bill. So it may sound silly, but Mr. Donald J. Trump, um, with all due respect, please open your eyes and listen from the bottom of your heart. I don't know how to connect to you. I don't know how to talk to you in a way that you will understand. This is my simple way of connecting to you. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I want to go back to the US, to work again and continue where I left off. But with all the damages that have been done, I think you know what I'm waiting for. You know the desires of my heart. You can probably read my mind as well. So, oh well, there you have it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and until then, God bless you. In God we trust.